So if this is a holographic game I'm playing, and what is my purpose? And if I take responsibility that everything that happens, all everybody everybody's actions that are going on, I'm in some way making them do that, um, and it's all coming from me, then the same is true for the other side. However, type of mother they want to see in me, whatever type of daughter they want to see in me, or granddaughter, um, or the general public, whoever is looking at me is looking at me from a holographic game as well, and they want to cross paths with whatever it is I'm doing. So, in one way to explain, my last year has been hell. Here I've been wanting to be on this disability, trying to heal. And yet again, I experienced another really devastating experience. My second son was getting married, and a lot of his friends are gone since he's been getting engaged, and there seems to be an awful lot of arguments and disagreements. Completely stopped communicating with my son in the past year, and I'm sure from his perspective he has a story that he's wishing to believe, and I'm sitting on this side going, I really want to support your wedding. I really want to be there. You're the son I love. I love all my children. And when you devote your life and put so much into it and you're not there on their wedding day, kind of upsetting. So it's been, they planned a wedding out of the country, which I clearly can't afford to go. They definitely think that I should be working and save my money and go to this wedding myself. And I'm like at my weakest state. I'm, completely broken down. And somehow I'm supposed to be strong enough to pull my shit together and get back and work again. And that seems to be a record that's been playing my whole entire life is um, I'm supposed to be doing an awful lot of work for, to fill the dreams and wishes of everybody else. And I'm kind of taking a step back, and it was really sad that um, if this is a holographic game, my son, for some reason, wanted to design a wedding where his sister and mother weren't able to attend, and then sort of play a story, probably in his own mind, that we just didn't care enough to go to their wedding, and we didn't try enough, or we didn't work enough. And yet, there's an awful lot of really bad stories that have been taking place within the past year. And there's a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of, and my son and his wife don't want to communicate the problem. They, just have, there's been absolutely no way of communicating with them. They just won't answer phone calls. Um, Totally discommunication, and then just perceived that we were the ones that didn't want to go to this wedding. And in actual fact, this is heartbreaking. We wanted to go more than anything. We needed to be participating in the plans to sort of figure out how we can possibly go there, but um, it wasn't even a matter of solving any problems of how it could be done. It was a matter of, we don't even want to talk to you. We don't even want you there, basically. So kind of was really, really hurtful. And, the eyes in the bag start coming out, and I'm starting to age because I get caught up in the game of how horrible this story is. Um, and then I'm, what is my purpose? Why do I know everything that I'm doing? And I'm now posting a diary telling my story, and it's going to offend my children, whoever I'm telling the story about. But if it's a holographic game and we have to be responsible and accountable, then the other side of this game, both all family members that might find this disagreeing, they obviously want to create a reality where somebody's telling them of this disagreement. They want a mother that puts themselves on YouTube. All of their actions are supporting um, what I'm doing in some way, shape, or form. So I don't necessarily have to be responsible and accountable for how they react to things. Um, it does break my heart that somebody would want to not be supportive, not willing to be open in communication, not have any concern about another person's feelings. This inability to have compassion for another side, and a will to want to communicate through a problem is very hurtful. But if I live in all of that pain, then I end up dying because I start developing habits like smoking, and something I don't want to do. And I find myself doing it all the time. And through this process of holodynamics, I kind of really understand why I smoke and why it's next to impossible to quit. And it's making it a lot easier to make a major shift in my life because it's I know it's no good for my body. I can feel what it does to my body. And if you communicate with your problem and ask it what it wants, and going through this process of asking, okay, why, the smoking addiction, what is it you want? And it's like, well, I want to kill you. And the process is giving your problem what it wants. So it's, the logic in that is, do I let my problem want to kill me? And my full potential self wants to live. So it's no, I'm not going to give you that. And all problems are where all sides win. So you ask more questions, and it's like, well, why do you want me dead? And it's because his life is so friggin' painful. It's better, you're better off dead, and the pain will be over. And so logically, from a full potential wanting to communicate with this problem, um, it was, well, maybe you should participate in the change, and maybe you should take everything you know and do something with it, and try to keep communicating with the problem, and hopefully the problem will show up and mature and make a different decision. And which is basically when you're talking to a problem and you can see that the problem is inside you. It's not like I'm talking to an empty um, thing out there. When I want to talk to my smoking addiction, it's an addiction that's within inside me, and this is obviously what's happening inside me, but I wasn't consciously aware of it. So now every time I have a cigarette, I know that it's like, okay, you don't want to live. So I have to reprogram my brain. I have to find a purpose, a will to want to live. And once you live in that, then your smoking addiction or the negative behaviors that you're experiencing will change. So a lot of this is going to be neurology, how you reprogram your brain to create a completely different experience. Now, one of the things that I'm going to be doing, and this is really, really, really helpful, um, you have to understand that um, this corporate world that's controlling us, anybody that has a job in that field, they do take some kind of psychology courses. And the whole goal is to figure out how to control the game and how they can be the winner of that game. So they learn more about psychology and how people do the things they do. And once they get their education, then they can manipulate you just by knowing how it is to control you. So um, if you understand a lot of the psychology that's going on, you can play the game a lot easier. And it's proven. So um, branding, getting somebody to pay attention to what it is they want you to do. They brand, they get logos, they get symbols, they have actions to go with it to program you to believe in what they want you to believe.